Mr. Minnick helping us Python Intro to Computer Science students with If Statements Worksheet 3. We are tracing if statements for the first time ever, and practically every piece of software in the world probably has an if statement in it. And let's look at the first example here. X equals 129. X is a variable, and the number 129 is being assigned into the variable X according to that line of code. So I like my students to trace the current values stored in variables over here in the right margin of worksheets. And don't ask me if X is like the quantity of something they're ordering in the store or not. I'm not giving any good meaningfulness to this. Just sorry about that. Just follow along. Y equals 200, so please put a 200 there under the Y column. And we've done, both of those lines of code are now finished. If you like to cross things out, that's fine, I don't care. Count equals 0, so count equals 0. Now let's step back as if we're not a computer and look at the big picture. Let's read ahead to see who ended up like dying in this murder mystery. Let's read the last page or two. Oh, count is either 1 or 2. So it's either Professor Plum with the candlestick in the study, or it's Miss Peacock with the, I forget, lead pipe in the library. But we don't know yet, because it all comes down to this control expression right here, folks. And sometimes an if statement interacts with something that a person did. Like they tilted their mobile device, iPad maybe, to the left. So we don't know right now how this is. Sometimes we don't know on a worksheet how it's going to act. But guess what? For grading purposes, I have to tell you what's X is and what Y is so that I know how to grade this worksheet. So sorry this is boring, but trust me, if you stay focused here, this example could lead to lots of downloads for your free app, or even 99-cent charges that you make like 70 cents off of because the Apple Store takes some of the money. Good luck with that. Seriously, because I have students who have made money off of apps. Okay, moving on to the actual worksheet. 129. Is it greater than 120? Yes, it sure is. So put a little T there for good safe scratch work. Y less than 200. No, Y is 200. Is 200 less than 300? 30. Huh. False. That's a false. When you have a true and with a false, according to the truth table, overall that's a false. So put a big F there. We've now analyzed that whole control expression. It's false, which means we don't do what's right directly below the if. Cross the count equals 1 out, and now we trickle down to this point. When you have an else at the tail end of an if, else, else, you execute it no matter what. So this is what should be circled on this worksheet. And then that really means that you put a 2 into the variable count, which means you put a single slash through that 0 and show me that it turned into a 2. Don't erase. Don't be like this kid that has the initials NW that only uses pens on worksheets and scribbles things out. I don't want to give away names, but that's ridiculous in my opinion. We should use a pencil, but don't erase either. Like a good accountant, put a single line there and put a 2. Now I'd like you to circle final values over here. So circle that, and circle that. And this of course is circled, so we're done with exercise 1. Exercise 2. Let's go faster. I think you understand it partly more. 200 goes here. Done is equal to 1. The variable count is equal to 0. So we're finished with all this code. Now we analyze this. Order of operations. When you have ands and ors, you always do the ands first. And when you have relational operators like less than, you do less thans even before an and. So the first thing that you need to do here is y less than 300. Yes, 200 is less than 300, so this is a true. Now you have to do this double equals. Is done, the number 1, equal to 0? No, it's not. That would be a false. So now you have to do the stuff around the and as if there was an extra set of parentheses here, because that's the way Python would do it. It ignores the or until it's finished with the and. When you have true and false, overall that's a false. And by the way, we should have done this relational greater than, but let's catch up now. Is 129 greater than 120? True. And now you're left with true or this false, because all of this is kind of like finished. You're left with a big false over here. True or false? True. Overall, this or is true, which means we do circle this and we cross out the count equals 2, and this 1 plugs in for count. So cross out this 0. Now this would be like in a game scoring a point or something, or maybe moving somewhere in a game and you didn't hit a wall, like in a project that we're about to do. Like Pac-Man can't just go through walls. It's got to go through like the openings. And this has a lot to do with Xbox, Nintendo Switch, and anything else ever since 1978, the first time I played the tank game with my dad at Montgomery Ward's, because we couldn't afford a game console at home, so we went to the shopping mall to play games. It was so sad, but it was how I bonded with my dad, until some other dad and his son kicked us off because we took up too much time at that demo version of the Montgomery Ward's Pong game. Moving to number 3, 129. You know what? I'm not going to do this whole problem for you. I think you can finish it, but I'll set it up for you. You have an and to look at. You have another and one of these will be circled. We just don't know which one yet until you finish the worksheet. Number 4, x is 129. So that will be true when you get that far. So you will be executing this, and you'll be ignoring this. Because the if is true, you ignore the else that's lined up with it. Those are lined up. So you cross that out, and because this is true, you go in here. Then it hinges on y. Because y is 200, and 200 is not a bigger number or greater than 300, I'll just give you the answer already. You're going to be circling this, because that's going to be false. But you know what? I would need to see scratch work for full credit if I collect and grade this worksheet. And number 5, let's do this one quickly. 126 and 200 are the starting values for these 3 variables. And then we work from inside the parentheses out. X greater than 140. 126 is not greater than 40, so this is a false. 200 is not greater than 300, so that's a false. When you have a false ORed with a false, that makes the OR false. But hold on. Don't go any further. You still have this annoying not here. That not in this set of parentheses isn't finished executing yet. The not of a false would be a larger true, because that makes the whole outer set of parentheses true, which means this does get circled, and that would become 1, and you should circle all these as your final values and cross this out because we never got that far. A not sometimes is added in just to make it interesting or just necessary for a game to work right. Good luck with whatever else you had to do in this worksheet for learning and understanding and possibly points.